Hey, Print Hustlers, welcome back to Printavo Print Hustlers Podcast. I'm your host, Bruce from Printavo. Thank you guys so much for joining again right after Print Hustlers Conf, just getting back into the swing of things. Today, though, we've got a very, very special guest, somebody who's actually at the conference, too, Mr. Vlad Kalman out of Printing on Main Street from Woodridge, New Jersey, out east. Our East Coast friends. What's up, Vlad?
Yep. Nothing much.
Thanks so much for coming, too, to the conference. What'd you think?
It was super fun. Met a lot of really, really cool people. Learned a bunch of things. So hopefully we can implement some of them and take it from there.
That was definitely one of our biggest one yet. It was funny because the room obviously was definitely full to the max. The tickets sold out in a month and a half or something. Plus, we had a bunch of sponsors that wanted to be a part of the event, plus people helping, and we definitely hit the capacity for that room. But everybody's friends, so yeah, everybody's buddy. Was there a talk or a person that you remembered that you really liked?
I mean, all the speakers said something that I really, liked, and it was very different than I guess I expected it to be, right? Mm-hmm. So it was really like, I don't know if you want to call it TED Talk style.
Yeah.
Right? It was really cool to find out some of the updates that you guys are releasing, especially the mobile app, the update to the mobile app.
Yes.
Which I never even knew there was a mobile app to begin with till that day. So
and that's fine. And that's fine. It's we're not super proud of that one, but it was a test.
Listen, test or not test, I put in an invoice yesterday.
Oh, hell yeah. So that's awesome, man. It
did what I needed it to do.
It feels like, especially in today's day and age, you sign up for a site, right? Project management software or CRM software or whatever. And there's always an app, right? I mean, we're just on the go so much, especially as a business owner. You're there, you're at home, you want to check on something, and so that's what we know we needed. I spent so much. It costed almost, probably $30,000 to get that first version out, and that was the third version of that. Like the first one didn't work at all. Had to scrap the whole thing. Second one, basically same thing, and then third one finally found somebody that knew what they were doing, and then this new one coming out is a total scrap of that one, but. Anyway, that's cool to hear, though.
It's always evolving, right? It's just like everything else. It's always evolving, and you just got to do the best you can.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, I think I agree with you on the TED Talky type of style. I think some years we were trying to do a little bit more takeaways. So you write down stuff. You've got all these, and I'm sure you've got a ton of notes anyway, but still you write down stuff and then you can implement it right away. And I think this year was a little bit more like high level. What are we thinking about or being inspired by or pulling from different industries? So anyway, enough about that though. Let's talk about Printing on Main Street. Tell us just a little bit about your shop.
So the shop has evolved a lot from, almost, we started at the end of 2019. I knew nothing about the printing business whatsoever. Never printed, never, did the only thing that I did do is I came from the events industry, and I've always gotten stuff made for clients. So T-shirts, hoodies, promo items, banners, things of that nature.
Is that what you're doing before event management?
Yeah. So I was doing, I still have a live events company, and we do a bunch of different types of events. I was kind of trying to get out of that business for a little while after being in it for 20 years, and
just like got burned out, or
I was working with a really large company for almost 8 or 9 years before this, and doing 1,000 events a year. as the
Holy
GM.
cow.
Every single event would pass through my hands in one shape or another, so it was just, 80-hour weeks and
Sure.
nights, late nights
Weekends
and
and
weekends, and having a family, it takes a toll on you. So I kind of wanted to get out of that situation. And a client called me and said, "Hey, I needed to get some shirts printed for an office party we're having. Can you help me out?" I said, "Sure,
hmm
why not?" And like something just went off in my head. I was like, "I'm gonna open up a print shop."
yeah.
That's just the type of person I am, I guess. So I went on YouTube University and kind of learned everything I could learn.
Who are
And
you watching?
you know, I
Ryan
mean,
or
everybody.
Catspit or
Yeah, so I watched all of Catspit's videos. I watched all of
yeah.
Ryanette's videos. I watched all of Lee Stewart's videos at that time. I
Yeah.
watched all of the Print Life. I mean, literally, I spent 2 months on YouTube where my wife got to a point, she's like, "Can you stop watching videos? Like, all you do all day is watch videos." And I'm like, "Well, I need to learn." So obviously, we started small. I bought a heat press. I figured I had some contacts in the business. I can get somebody to do some contract work for me. I said, let me start selling and then figure the rest out.
Smart.
Um, and then I came across your video, how to go from zero to 250,000. I guess that's what it was titled,
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, one of your early videos. And this was way before I even thought about, you know, getting on Printavo or anything like that. Um, and we just started. I just started, created a company, started doing whatever marketing I knew. And the only marketing I really knew, because I'm not really too good with social media and Google and things like that, is I went door to door. So I would
Mm.
literally close the shop at 11 a.m. every day. I would go visit different businesses in our town and surrounding towns for an hour, hour and a half. I would grab lunch and then I'd come back to the shop. You know, every day that I did that, I picked up another job.
Yeah, that's wait.
You
I
know,
so how did you? You know what's funny, by the way, because you told me this story of watching that video that's 0 to 250K at the conference, and I was like, that is so cool. Because I think that was the first videos that I actually made just from what we learned running a little manual shop on a college campus. Obviously, everything like worked for students, and it worked then in that time and era. There's so many new different marketing channels now, but that's really crazy. Tell me just a little bit more about the door to door though.
I literally made a flyer and I would walk in and introduce myself and say,
Yeah,
"Hey, I'm Vlad. I own a local print shop I just opened recently. And if you need anything, please feel free to reach out to me." And, pizzerias, I mean, all different types of places. Like one of my first customers was a local pizzeria down the street. I walked in, he said, "Oh, wow, I need to get some shirts made." I was like, "I'm your guy."
so is that from the flyer? So you walked in, dropped off a flyer, asked for the owner or something, just introduce yourself.
Just introduced myself. And I think the first week,
How did you say it? Because I mean, that feels awkward to me too.
I'll tell you that I still do that till this day,
Uh huh.
right? Because that's the only marketing I know. Like,
Mm,
I just don't like, I can sell really, really well face to face because that's what I've done for 20 years,
yeah.
right? I've sat with clients, I've met face to face, and I've sold a variety of different things. Um, when it comes to marketing online, I never did that, right? I never had to post on Instagram. I never, like, I did personally, but not for
Right.
business. Like the company I was with had a department that handled that stuff. So I just still, till this day, we still do the same thing.
But
We
like, give me an
we
example. Like that pizza shop, you walk in with the flyers. What do you say?
Yeah.
What?
So I'll tell you the most recent one. So I happened to be driving and I was hungry.
Okay.
So I saw a pizzeria. I pulled over, went in, grabbed the slice. As I'm eating my pizza, I said thank you to the guy. And on the way out, I said, "Hey, by the way, I own a print shop 2 towns over. Here's a flyer. If you ever need anything printed, feel free to reach out to me." And the guy said, "Thank you so much." And yesterday he called me and said, "Hey, I need to get some shirts done. How could I send you the design?" Right. So that's how simple it was. It wasn't like going out there specifically, walking in like, "Here, we want to sell you something." Walking in saying, "Hi, I'm so and so. I work or own this business. And if you need anything, feel free to reach out to us.
Then that's smooth. What about you talked about closing the shop before, and you're at like 11, and you're going door to door. How did that? What was that
Yeah,
script like?
well, that's what happened, right? So that was one thing that I used to do. Secondly, I literally contacted every single person in my phone book,
Mm-hmm.
right, and said, "Hey, I opened up a print shop. If you know anybody or you need anything, let me know."
Right.
And that helped, right? Because a friend of mine has a catering company. He reached out to me, said he needed some shirts. So just from one thing led to another. Um, and every day as things went on, we just got busier and busier from one job to the next, to the next, to two jobs, to three jobs, to five jobs. And at that time, we were doing everything in vinyl. So it was taking, unless we got a big order, then I would outsource it. But at that time, for the most part, a dozen shirts or whatever, we were doing in vinyl. It was taking forever to do. Um, so I started doing transfers and other things of that nature
Got it.
to
Can
speed
you?
up the
But
process.
do you have? So the pizza example, I think, is really great. Right? You buy their service. You're just kind of making friends. Just like, hey, I'm here. Let me know. Were there any other examples that you can't maybe just buy their service, or that you're going in, or you're trying to meet them?
Yeah, so these days we do a lot of community type sponsorships, if you
Hmm.
can call it. So we sponsor softball teams, we sponsor baseball teams, soccer, um, different types of community events, fundraisers for the police department, and different things like that. So I found that that's really helped us get our name out there.
Hmm.
Um, Over the last 3 years or so, we've kind of become the print shop in our community. Like everybody knows that we're here, and that's really helped us grow. That's really helped us grow. We went from that little 300 square foot store. 6 months later, I knew that we couldn't. There was boxes floor to ceiling. I just you had to like zigzag between the boxes to get to the heat press. It was just too much. So I took a 1,500 square foot store and figured that would obviously give me room to grow.
Hmm.
Well, a year later, I outgrew the 1,500 square foot store and now took another 2,700.
Got it. That's awesome. Congratulations. And
Yeah.
how long ago
So,
did you start?
so we started August, but August I just kind of took the lease and opened the corporation. I didn't really
Of
get
last year?
going till like September of 2019.
2019. Okay.
Of 2019. January, I took the lease of this store, and then did a construction and whatever, got it ready. February we opened up. Mid-February, I guess we started working from here, and then March 15th the world shut down.
Got it. Can you share where you think you'll be at sales wise this year?
So I was just actually doing the numbers. So it looks like we're going to be right above 500,000 by the
That's
end of this year
amazing.
in sales.
Congratulations. Okay, so 0 to
Thank you.
500K.
In a little over 2 years.
That's awesome. So I want to break this down more, right? For somebody out there that's going through this, that we can help share more. So there's an element of personality, obviously. You going, being nice, talking to people, introducing yourself, just meeting other business owners. That's one. You talked about two, sponsoring community events. So just getting your name out there. People hear it the first time, they hear it the second time, they hear it the third time, maybe the fifth time they come in. What else to grow to 500,000 in sales?
So, I mean, when the pandemic hit, right, I just tripled my overhead. I had probably like, after I paid the security deposits, I had like 3 grand left in the bank.
Hmm.
I was kind of panicking. Like, what am I going to do? Maybe I shouldn't have took this store. Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And then, you guys had just released merch around that time,
Hmm.
right? Like end of March.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a lot of different betas and
So I think we jumped on. We jumped on in March, and really reached out to as many people as we could and said, "Hey, we want to." Everybody, was promoting these like
hmm.
Coro signs, like lawn signs, supporting healthcare heroes, and we decided to come up with a town campaign right? So thank you to the first responders of, let's say, Woodridge or Maywood or Little Ferry or all these separate towns. We found the person in that town to be responsible for promoting it, and they basically use the money for, their firefighters, ambulance, the police, for the hospital, whatever they wanted to donate their portion of the funds to.
Got it.
We did. So that really,
So the merch
yeah. So
stores.
that really, we just started yeah. So we started doing merch stores. It started with signs, then it became apparel and masks, and hand sanitizer holders, and just, we totally pivoted away from
Do you
doing
guys still do a lot of stores
apparel.
now?
Yeah. So 50% of our business now is merch.
And that came from, you weren't doing it before COVID, but obviously you forced it, and then now you're still doing a ton and doing custom. Do you think it added sales to the business, or it just diversified the sales and kind of split them?
100%.
It added, okay.
100%.
So it took it and sort of doubled, and now it's 50-50 in a way.
Yeah. So we have a little retail store where we do some one-off stuff for customers. We've kind of, a lot of the towns that have contracts with other apparel decorators, let's say for schools and stuff, they don't personalize. So a lot of them will come to us to get, names put on jerseys and stuff. So we created kind of a storefront, small 400 square foot storefront. And we do a lot of one-off stuff there. So that's about 15% of our business.
That's a fair amount.
Business. Yeah, no, it brings in a decent amount of money.
Are there other screen printing shops in the town too? So I'm looking at Woodridge, New Jersey. There's about 8,800 people, it's saying, in this town. Obviously, you talked about working with a lot of neighboring towns as well.
So look at Bergen County, New Jersey. That's our county. I can't even tell you exactly how many towns are in the county, but way larger. We work with about 20 to 25 schools in Bergen County.
Got it. About 1 million people.
And then our proximity to New York City, we get some of that traffic as well. We have, I think there's 75-star reviews.
Yeah, you guys have a lot. Do you feel like you compete locally then with a lot of other shops, or are there other shops?
So there are, right? So between me and a friend of mine who's become a friend since I've kind of came into this business, his shop is probably 15 minutes drive from here.
Okay.
And between me and him, there's about 8 other printing shops.
Yeah, I see one 2 blocks away.
A little more than 2 blocks. There's one like 5 blocks away.
I guess what I'm curious on is just like, sometimes we get questions on, hey, I'm in a smaller town, or granted, for sure, you're in a highly populated area though. But, I've got this tight-knit area. How do I continue to grow?
Look, this town that I'm in right now, right, is 20% of my business. 20% of the overall business comes just from this town.
Okay, got it.
Right? The 2 or 3 neighboring towns around us is the other 20%. Of I'm saying out of the 50% of the merch.
Sure.
Right? The other 10% is towns that have found out, or people that have found out, that are a little bit still in Bergen County, but a little bit further away, half an hour away or so. Even though you're in a small community, there's still business everywhere. Everywhere. It just depends, right? Like, I was talking to somebody at Print Hustlers, they're doing as much as me, and their overhead is half of mine. It does, and they're in a small town. And that doesn't mean it never stopped them.
How do you think about that when he told you that? Or was it like what's your minimum wage? Or was it, do I have too many people, or what?
No, I look at it like, so at the same time, they do a lot of the stuff themselves. So I am not a printer in any way, shape, or form, right? Like, I till this day can't properly code a screen. It's just not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll do it if I have to. If I have no choice, it'll get done. But, this person printed before. To them, the printing part came easy. So they were able to do it. To me, I had to hire somebody to do that.
Got it.
It's just not, yeah,
So you could focus on the
just
stuff you're
not what
good
I
at.
do.
Right.
Correct. Yeah, I'm a big believer of focus on what you're good at and try to hire people to do the stuff that you're not. And today I have another salesperson. We have two production people. Our overhead is has grown a lot.
How do you structure the salesperson to work with you?
So
And when did that happen
it's a
too?
challenge. So actually, she was my first hire when I was still in the 300 square foot store. So what I realized was if I leave, the only way for me to keep bringing business was to keep going out there.
Right.
And if I keep going out there and closing every day, then who's actually going to make this stuff? So the pizzeria, who was one of my first customers, I went to him because we kind of became, you know, closer. And I said to him, "Hey, I need to hire somebody like part time to just help me make shirts." And he said to me, "I think I might know somebody who's looking for a job. Like, kids are in school, or she has a few hours during the day where she can work. Maybe that'll work for you."
Mm.
And I said, "It's perfect. Those few hours is actually when I need to be out there. So if I can teach her to, weed and press shirts, that's awesome."
Right.
So I met with her, and she started working, and she's been with me ever since. And now she is in sales, and she brings in probably half the business.
So, okay, so she helps manage, I'm assuming, existing accounts and new accounts.
Yeah. And she's salary. Um, where I'm trying to figure out a way to
Commission.
give her commissions as well. It's just really hard. Like, it's hard to figure out how that would work. I'm working on it. We haven't done that yet, but it's in the works.
Yeah, that's an interesting model. Did the commission come up from her or more from you?
Well, so I've increased her salary, as we're growing, twice a year or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that at this point, where she makes she has a decent cushion, right? For her to be able to actually go out there and bring in new business, I need to incentivize her with some sort of a commission structure on top of her base salary.
Got it. So it sounds like a little bit of both. So, maybe she
Mm-hmm.
wants to earn more and then you want to help motivate.
Well, everybody wants to earn more, right?
Right.
Everybody wants to earn more. So yeah, I think, look, and that's kind of the same way I've worked for majority of my life. I've had a base salary and commissions, or purely commissions. I mean, so I get it. It's just a little different in this business because do you take it off the top line? Do you pay commissions off the top line? Do you pay commissions off of profits? How does that work?
Right.
Right. I have another salesperson, like an outside salesperson that brings in business, and she's 100% commission based. But she was a promo products person. She has her own clients. We just do the work for her really and split,
Yeah.
profit in a certain way.
For us, it's interesting when we first set up our commission, and obviously totally different business, right? I mean, selling software versus apparel and promo products. I actually told the team, I said, look, I've never set up a commission plan. So we're going to evaluate this every 2 months just to see where it's at. It could go up, it could go down. We just need to make sure that it benefits you and it's profitable for the business. Because if it's not, then it just doesn't matter what sales are bringing in. But yeah, we adjusted it maybe 4 or 5 times in the last couple of years, and not like major ones, but slightly. And I think at first it was really simple. It was like X%, and then we were like, well, we want to motivate annual plans, right? It's good for cash flow for us to have an annual subscription versus monthly. But then it was too complicated because you had to think about, a sales rep had to look at a Google sheet to figure out what they actually made and to tally it up. And then we did some sort of waterfall arrangement. So basically cliffs basically. So you hit a cliff and then it get ratchets up. So it gets more of a percentage. And we still do more of that now, but it's a lot easier to tally to know when I sell this, I make this. And I think that helps. I'm sure we're going to keep changing it still, but
Yeah, I mean, today I incentivize all of our employees with bonuses,
Oh, how does that
and they're
work?
different. They're yeah, so it's not really structured. We're such a small, tight knit team. Like um, Angela just got here, who's been with me from day one almost,
Hey, hi, Angela.
and she is in the other room, but I'll say
All right.
she'll come over and say hi. Um, so Angela will tell you that I buy lunch for everybody every single day.
Hi,
Hi, Angela.
how are you?
So that's first of all, it's just something. If I'm here, I buy lunch for everybody, and that's kind of a morale thing, right? For me, at least.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then if we have a really like this week, last week, and this week were really really stressful weeks for us. A lot of orders, a lot of last minute, like Halloween. We got a really last minute um, order that was just rough. It was really rough.
Hmm.
So yeah, Angela said, but super successful. The client was super happy. It was glitter transfers from Transfer Express that were a nightmare to put on. Separate topic. But we got it done. Client was super happy. Their event was super successful, and they got a lot of great feedback from their merch. And they're going to do another, good order, another big order with us. So, I'll give them a little bit extra on their salaries just to say thank you.
Got it. Got it. So it's
I'll
more of
take
like
a
a
look.
spot
Yeah,
bonus.
I'll take a look at what we like, how much the week was, and how well we did as a business, and give them a little bit extra.
That's awesome. Yeah, nice
And I guess
spot
as we're
bonus around.
growing, eventually, yeah. So like right now, it's cool to buy lunch for 3 or 4 people, no big deal. If you had 20 people, right, it could be a little bit of a
True.
harder
Yeah,
thing to do.
it wouldn't scale
To
as
give
well.
people, yeah, 50 or $100 extra a week just because you have a good week. If you have a huge team, it's hard,
Right.
right? It could be hard at least. So we'll have to figure that out. We'll have to figure that out as we grow. But for now,
What 0 to 500? What else do you think help contribute to that?
hard work and good people around me.
Yeah.
Great people around me.
How did you find the other good people? So you talked about the referral from the pizza shop was one.
Yeah, which was Angela, right? And then we've really just we've tried a bunch of people, and they either worked out or they didn't. There was a time where like every week I had a new person in here in production, and
Really?
they just couldn't. They couldn't. Yeah, like we were, and at that time we were just doing transfers, like pressing shirts, and they just couldn't do it.
Right.
Right, like either couldn't keep up or didn't want to. And until we found somebody who actually enjoyed doing it, and it happened to be that she came from a large format print shop, so she kind of had a general idea. Obviously, apparel was a little different than what she was used to, but she was able to catch on, and she's been with us for, I want to say, at least 6 months, if not more.
Were there any growth challenges that maybe you'd have done differently?
I would have. So we bought an auto. I would have done that a lot sooner. I think that we could have done a lot more
When
this
when
year.
would you have gotten it? Was there like a revenue marker, or was it a timing? What do you think?
So we had a manual. We were doing that thing, but the problem was I couldn't find somebody because I didn't know it myself. I guess it was hard for me to train somebody to do it. And that was taking away a lot of time because I was standing there printing shirts, pulling the squeegee. And that that wasn't working out, right? Because at that time I was doing all the artwork, even though Angela was selling, I was doing all the artwork. I would have, it was crazy. Like she's saying, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So now, having an auto, it just streamlined the process for us a little bit better. And we're still it's super new, right? So we're still getting comfortable. But
And when did
I
you
would have
buy it
done it a year
again?
ago, 6 months ago.
Okay, got it. So you're thinking maybe 2 years ago, or when do you think?
No, like a year ago.
Okay.
Like probably. And my biggest thing was I was scared of the payments, right? So like I financed it,
Sure.
or leased it with an option to buy. and I was really scared of the payments. Like, are we going to be able to do it? And I got to a point where I said, scared money don't make money. There's an extra, there's an extra 1,000 or 2,000 in the bank every month. You know, that's, God forbid we don't. I looked at it like this. I said the payments are, you know, because I put some money down and stuff, so the payments are like $1,100 a month.
Okay.
I said to myself, if things stay exactly the same as they are right now, we don't grow at all. Just keep doing what we're doing. Is there an extra $1,100 every month to make this payment? The math added up, so I did it. You know, obviously, once we get it going fully and the press turning all the time, you know, that top line will grow 100%.
What do you think that was from? Was it, and maybe it was a combination of things. Like when you got the auto, was it the mental aspect of shit? I gotta get out there. I gotta sell more, or was it?
Well, my mind is always, yeah, my mind is always in sales mode. The only way to make money in business is to sell. It doesn't matter how great of a printer you are. If you can't sell, you're not going to make money.
But in theory, too, on the production side, right, you could turn jobs around quicker, which you get paid faster, and it compounds over a year, in combination with growth, of course. But yeah, it's just interesting to think about. We've heard that from other people who they were like, yeah, I definitely would have made the jump earlier. And then, what fuels it? Obviously, you were on a strong growth trajectory, so that momentum just kept.
Yeah, I mean, like I did some consulting work with Steven.
Mm-hmm. Farrig?
Ferris,
Awesome.
yeah. And he said to me, Vlad, maybe you shouldn't do it. Maybe you should outsource everything, because maybe you should be a sales organization and just sell.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason why I didn't take his advice is because I tried it. I tried it for a little bit. I tried it for maybe 10 orders or so. Turnaround time for contract printers in our area right now is 3 weeks to a month. I built my business on fast turnarounds, if you can call it, right?
To be competitive.
And I guess long term, that's also hard to scale, right? So I have customers that we, ordered stuff, and we just happened to have shirts in stock. So they ordered stuff. We didn't have much going on. We printed them. They got them the next day, right? Long term, when you have a bunch of orders, yeah, that's not scalable. You can't keep doing that. But the contract shops, we have a shop 10 minutes away that's 12 autos, 150 heads of embroidery. They have they're working 24 hours a day. I think they have 300 people working there.
Mm-hmm.
They're 2 to 3 weeks at minimum. And I can't, and that's from the day they get the goods, they have all the art, they have everything approved, so really it's a month. I can't have customers waiting a month to get their stuff.
Right. Yeah,
and that's why that
edge.
didn't work for me.
And that's where
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And that's where, but honestly, that hasn't stopped us, right? Like, I got an auto because we were doing so many transfers, pressing 400, 500, 600 piece orders front and back with transfers. Like 2 people standing at the press all day, 8 to 10 hours a day. Like when I saw that, I said, I gotta come up with something. I gotta do something, because this is not scalable, right? Yes, I can add another press. I can add another heat press. I can add another body, but that's still going to give me 400 shirts a day. If I want to grow, I can't do 400 shirts a day.
Right.
So that's the way I looked at it, and that's what made me pull the trigger.
Got it. What do you think 2022 looks like for you guys? Like, what are you trying to tackle? What's your biggest focus?
So I do want to hire another full-time person in production, who can, for the most part, own the screen printing portion of the business. I think that if we have a dedicated person that's only doing that all day, that'll help us. That'll help us grow. There's a lot of challenges, though. There's a lot of challenges these days with everything going on. Hiring, getting garments is rough. Like I used to order, once a day, once every other day, depending on what we have. Now I order as orders are confirmed.
Yeah.
So people are confirmed. I know that somebody ordered 20 hoodies, 24 hoodies or something like that. I knew that those 24 hoodies is over $200. I went on SNS and ordered them, you know, just because I could go there an hour later and they could be sold out.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, that's the playing field right now. You know, prices are going up on everything, and it's just, those are the types of challenges. So I hope things turn around and things become easier.
Definitely.
In that sense.
You know, this is a really cool story. Just hearing 0 to 500. I want to hear the 500 to a million in a couple of years. For you to come back and if we do something live at the conference or something, you'll have to grab me when that happens, though.
I'll let you know.
Awesome.
I'll let you know.
Everybody, this is Vlad Kallman, Printing on Main Street. You guys can reach out to him too if you guys have questions. They're out of Woodridge, New Jersey. Vlad, thanks so much for joining us. Thank you guys for listening as well. Absolutely, absolutely. And thanks for coming to the conference too. I'm Bruce from Printavo, guys. We'll see you on the next week's episode.